Hi
Hello,
there.
everyone. Welcome to a series of discussions that we'll have every Thursday called AI Roundtable. You're free to join on this Zoom link every 1 p.m. on Thursdays. So, in this roundtable, we will cover the news of the week in the world of AI. We'll also cover technology and investing as a side topic. So, let's introduce our speakers today. Who do we have? You guys want to introduce yourself with the one-liner?
Yeah, my name is Varun Teja, and I'm a computer vision engineer and enthusiast about computer vision, deep learning, and machine learning. And I'm pursuing my master's at Northeastern University in Information Systems. Hello everyone, my name is Shravan Ardhan, and I'm currently a Master of Science student in Information Systems at Northeastern University. And I'm interested in data science and machine learning.
Hi guys, my name is Ashwin Silveri. I'm from Northeastern University. I've been as a cloud engineer. I'm interested in machine learning, deep learning, and as well as startup ideas.
Hey guys, my name is Kiran. I'm a master's student here at Northeastern University. I'm interested in machine learning, computer vision, and deep learning. So that's about me.
Okay, so in terms of talking points, so we had a lot of news in the last 1 week, wherein OpenAI, which is one of the biggest companies working in the space, released a bunch of releases, including their premier model and their use cases in numerous fields, including biotechnology, uh, video generation, and as well as their usual use cases of speech to text and a bunch of other topics. So what we will do today is we will review OpenAI's release topics. And they released a bunch of benchmarks, which has made a lot of news this weekend. And we will update or at least review these benchmarks in this video. So you guys want to share the screen and show the presentation?
I can do it. I'll do it. Yeah. Yeah. Is it visible?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
okay. Please make it into the slideshow. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the 12 days of OpenAI. So to give a gist of what we're going to discuss today, I'll just move on to the table of contents. Okay. Just a minute. Yeah. So these are some of the things, not some, these are the things that OpenAI just released a few weeks back. So O1 Pro, reinforcement, fine-tuning of O1. This is actually not publicly available, but still they gave us a demo of what it could do. Sora for video and Canvas. I'm pretty sure most of us have used Canvas. And this is also one of the interesting things that they did. They collaborated with the Apple AI, so you can use Siri with like ChatGPT. We'll delve more into that. Also, advanced voice. So you can chat with GPT like you would to any other coworker or anyone else. It will reply to you in the same way as Siri does. And projects. This is one interesting thing that most of us, especially who are into software development, it might be helpful for them and search. And this is also 1-800 ChatGPT. So you can literally call ChatGPT now like you would and talk to it like a customer service representative. And although it doesn't have real-time data access, it's still pretty useful. So apart from that, O3 and O3 Mini, this is a revelation actually. We need to get deeper into that. Yeah.
So if I understand it right, they had all this. So if I understand the timeline, O1 was released sometime in September, and just to give the TLDR version of OpenAI, they released their. They became a big company in October, December 2022, and from that time point, they have grown exponentially, and they probably have like 200 million or 300 million users, daily active users, or I think it's weekly active users. So they've acquired a lot of customers, and they also have a paid tier wherein a bunch of people can use all this product for free. But they also have a paid tier wherein people can pay $20 a month and use their product. On top of it, the O1 model was the first time when they increased the price of their model to $200 a month. And this O3 is something which is much newer within the last 90 days. So that's the story so far of OpenAI. This company is valued at $150 billion, but that's immaterial to this discussion. But it just shows like the power of this technology, wherein one company has completely monopolized their position and acquired a lot of customers and delivering value to everybody. So the reason it's very important is if they're able to automate a lot of white collar, let's say labor, then I think it's going to change the nature of work as we know it. So as a result, it's an important development that we have to pay attention to and figure out how we will navigate this new tool in our lives, so to speak. So we can probably take it forward in terms of presentation.
Okay. Let me just. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Screen is visible, but
You guys are able to see it, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's
but the
visible.
table of contents slide is visible. Yeah.
Okay. So first we'll go into the O1 models. I think it's pretty interesting. Okay. So let's hear what they have to say. This is like a short clip. I'll just play it on. You guys can watch it.
I don't think we can hear the voice.
Yeah.
So you might as well just go to the main clips and then.
Okay.
The audio also needs to be
So
shared. Actually.
let me.
So in terms of summarization, Varun, do you want to add in as to how O1 is different and O3 is different, a one-line definition of each one of these models? Or probably, and then Kiran can probably explain the benchmarking that they've done.
Okay, so yeah, if you have GPT versions of O1 and O3, which the initial version was O1 and the recent advancement was O3 and O3 mini versions. And in between O1 and O3, there was some advancements happening, which they have didn't name it, and they named it as O1 Pro model instead of naming it as O2. So the technical advancements that like the benchmark advancements were O3 consistently outperforms O1 across various benchmarks, like in the series of day 12 series. In the first day, they have released the American Invitation Mathematicians examinations, which where O3 scored 96.7%, and then O1 scored 83.3%, and the next one was the Cloud Process Programming Benchmark, where they released the score of 2727, surpassing of O1 with 1891. So the
So if I
resilience that
understand it right, in terms of, let's say, this description, who's sharing the screen? So
I am.
Kiran,
I'm sharing.
okay. So can you go to okay. So I think you have to point to the diagram as in when you explain it so that like it syncs well.
Yeah.
So can we do a
So
quick recap of AIM competitive math?
So I'll give you a gist of what AIM is. So this is like a math competition, not really like an Olympiad or something, but this is a high-level math competition where students, mostly high school students, join. So it's a 15-question, 3-hour math competition, and each answer for a question is an integer between 0 to 999. And the interesting thing is no calculators are allowed. So yeah, if we go into the results, you can see that GPT 4.040, or this is what we used to use. It had a pretty low accuracy of 13.4. But as you go, even the O1 preview, that O1 preview is not there. They removed it, but that was like a
Just to
trial
interrupt,
version.
GPT-4 is the $20 per month model, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah. For $20, you do get O1 as well, but the access to it is limited. You can't ask it multiple questions. There's like a cap on how much data you can make it use.
But O1 in general, the advanced O1 is $200 a month.
Yeah, it's called the O1 Pro. That's the
Yeah,
$200 version. Yeah.
just so that like if in the audience, if somebody is watching,
Mhm.
the green, the is it turquoise? The
Yeah,
turquoise
that
is
was
like $13. That's like $20 option. And
yeah.
the yellow orange is yellow is probably about $20, and probably the orange color is probably like $200 or probably more than that. They haven't announced as to how much that costs, but you can go ahead.
Yeah. So if you want, I can show you like how it looks in ChatGPT, the plus version. I'll just share my entire screen, so you can see like what's allowed and all of that. Yeah. Let me just. I guess I guess you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just wait for it to load up. Yeah, I think the internet's bad here. Okay, I don't think the internet's fast enough for it to load.
Why don't you guys want to try this out?
It's actually a plus version, I guess. So.
Yeah, this
We
is the
don't
plus
have,
version.
yeah, we don't have a plus version because I guess
Yeah. So there are like four options that you can use for GPT 4.0, GPT 4.0 mini, and there's O1. So they do let you use O1, but there's a cap on how much you can use it for. Yeah. So
Okay, so if I understand it right, let's review all the benchmarks and then we'll figure out what the use cases are. So for somebody who's not into the field, what are the use cases that I can use it for? Like, so for $20, I get some basic version which can solve a lot of the queries quickly, and there is no constraint in terms of the amount of queries that I do. Right, off late, the free tier has a measure wherein like it stops you from using the device, using the tool beyond a certain query limit. But if you're paying for it, then I think there is no limit in terms of the amount of queries that you can have. Is that
actually there is a limit even with the plus model, the $20 version. I think I'm not sure of the exact data usage, but if you are pretty deep into coding and you ask it a lot of coding questions and you feedback loop through it, it does get pretty exhausted and it stops you from uploading any files, or it won't give you a response. It just stops. It'll ask you to wait for a few hours before you can ask it a query. And that's with GPT 4.0 as well. And the cap for O1 is smaller than that.
okay? So what are the other benchmarks do we know?
So GPQA Diamond, this is an interesting one. So to give a briefly explain what GPQA is. So it's like a set of really hard questions in bio, chem. So a lot of these domain experts came up with this. So this is used not only with to benchmark ChatGPT, or it's like an AI benchmark. A lot of these AI companies use it to measure their models. So on that you can see the accuracy from GPT 4.0 itself is pretty high. It's like 56%. And to give you a retrospective, you can just look at the expert human or mathematician or the domain expert. You can see how close it gets to an expert human in terms of with respect to this GPQA Diamond benchmark. And you can see that O1 and O1 preview. I mean, they beat the expert human.
But this is the only benchmark of all the benchmarks that I see wherein they're comparing with an actual human, because I mean they consider this kind of benchmarking as a benchmark towards with respect to an expert. So a
Yeah,
regular person who's not a PhD level expert would score much lower than this. So that
yeah,
means GPT-4 is almost at par with, let's say, an average human being
Yes, yes.
in terms of answering PhD level science questions. And GPT-4 is at par or better than an average human being. But if you're a PhD expert, then you score slightly higher. And O1 will even beat you. Even if you're a PhD
Yeah.
expert, it will still beat you. That's what they're trying to say. Okay, what about the worst of 4 performances? And
So
this is the
yeah,
best case, and this is probably the worst case benchmarking.
no, this was mostly like a stricter evaluation metric. So this is for reliability. So if you ask it, let's say, a question multiple times, so how many times is it correct? It's something related to that. Because if you have observed, if you ask GPT the same question multiple times, I think it tends to overthink and give you the wrong answer. So this is like an overview of how each model is better with respect to repeated questions and reasoning questions especially. So on the O1 preview, if the reliability is around 36%, it just increases altogether.
Okay, I think
Yeah.
this seems good. I think if are there any questions? Srinit, do you have any questions on this?
Uh, yeah, Professor. So the mathematical working, the GPT-4o was not even equal to a normal 12th standard student. What about it compared to the O1? If GPT-4 is compared to the O1 or the O1 Pro, how it is better? And like, do you have anything why what changes did they do for improving the mathematical problem solving?
So I'm not sure why. I don't think they reveal their tricks and tips to how they improve the model. But if you can see with respect to this AIFE, GPT 4.0 is still pretty bad, but there's no human comparison to it. Like there's no comparison given with respect to, let's say, a student or someone who is competing in the same thing. Yeah.
But I think if you're an Olympiad, and I heard that OpenAI talk, and as to how much did that guy score, I think he scored like 100 on this test. So it's like a human being, let's say a top high school student who is an Olympiad participant. I don't know if it is 100, but it's close to 100 is what they score on this. So it's still not. So there are two tests that you can think of in terms of benchmarking. One is ask them a hard question and see how far they can go in that hard question. That's one way of testing. The reliability testing is ask any question, probably 100 times. Do they get it right 100% of the times, or do they get it 95% of the times? That's the reliability score. So one is the hardness of the test. Another one is ask an easier question, but do they get it right 100% of the times? Because it has to be reliable for it to be used by other people, and someone has to certify that with a good housekeeping seal of approval that this machine works or this tool works. So nobody's able to approve this at a point wherein they can use it. This is like a good to have kind of tool, but it's not like battle tested at this point. Can we go to other ones on slides?
So
Also,
one
I
other.
think another point that I wanted to mention was like all these are dependent on the data that you're working on, right? They're not able to reason on things which are totally new. So if you ask what is the math level of all these models, that question is too vague, right? What is the data set that you're working on is not very clear. But I think O3 performs even better there, but we don't know in terms of cost how much it. We'll get to that eventually. Yeah, you wanted to.
Yeah, so one other thing that O1 or O1 Pro in general has. So before you could just give like textual info, like you can just chat with it, but now you can upload your code, you can upload files, or like in this case especially, O1 is able to recognize your handwriting. Like yeah, if you can just look at this prompt here, this is the image. Along with it, the guy has given a prompt with respect to a radiator or something like that. But if you can just go through the clip, OpenAI, this GPT not only gives you a in detailed answer, but this prompt is purposely vague. So it tackles that problem as well. It gives a really detailed answer, and that too in just 53 seconds. So yeah, let me just
Let's
play this.
quickly play it so that we can cover all the, yeah. So we don't have the audio, but you can just show the point at which they actually show the output.
Okay. Yeah. So you can see here, like this is like a very detailed description of how to build this thing, like the radiator and using the sun's energy and all of that. So that's yeah. So it not only gives you what you want, like if you have missed out something and GPT thinks that this should be like an integral part of your problem, integral part of your solution, it also gives you that. That is what like the improvement is in the O1 model. Yeah. Yeah.
Got it.
You can see, yeah.
You can probably go to the, are there any questions on this? Varun, you have any questions? You want to add something?
No, I don't have any input on this.
Okay. I think your audio is a bit low, and you see if you can figure out a way to improve it. But in the meanwhile, we'll just go ahead. Kiran.
Okay. Yeah. So one other thing that the O1 Pro model has done is like the protein sequence matching problem. So I don't know how to put this through. It's better if you just watch the video. I don't know, there's no audio, but you'll get a gist of what's going on. Yeah. So this is like a very difficult research problem or something like that. It takes people like a researcher probably hours or even days to kind of come to a solution. So if you can see the question right here, the prompt. So it says which protein strictly follows the following criteria, and there's a bunch of criteria right here. And you can
I
just
think long story short, proteins are made up of amino acids as opposed to DNA made up, making DNA is made up of nucleotide chain pairs. So they are essentially saying giving constraints for this protein structure and see how many proteins fit these many constraints.
yeah. Oops. Wait. So
So
this
it's
is
gonna take
something that yeah,
that
in the
takes time.
video. Yeah, it takes time. I'm just going to skip through it. So in 53 seconds, the GPT-01 Pro mode will give you an exact answer of which protein strictly adheres to all these constraints. So it
This is
other than that, other than the answer, it gives you like a detailed explanation of why this protein matches this criteria. So I think
and this
that's
is the
pretty.
$200 per month model, right?
Yes, yes, this is the $200 one. So like, yeah. If you can see here in the right, it gives you an explanation of why the answer is the protein that it has given. So you can see here that it has thought for just 53 seconds and it gives you a detailed reasoning. Obviously, the answer is here, but gives you a detailed reasoning of why it chose that. So that's pretty interesting.
Can we go to the, yeah, this seems this is, see, the way to think about this is it costs $200 to have this model at your disposal. Now imagine hiring somebody in the US who's a biotechnologist making, let's say, 100K a year. So if somebody makes 100K or let's say 120K and they make 10K a month, and you can have this model at $200 a month, that's like a huge premium. So I'm pretty sure if this is getting sold at $200 a month, pretty much every employer in the world will probably have access to something like this as an addendum to the kind of work that they do. So pretty much, I don't know how quickly that adoption will happen and how reliable these answers are, but I can foresee a world where everybody who's in the workforce working for some company will have access to some version of this model, and they'll use it to at least either verify, if not work with it on a regular basis. Either one of those two options are definitely possible. You can go to the next one.
Also, it's the $200 is for personal use. Like if you, as a common man, had to buy it. There's also another thing. Like if you're an organization, you can contact them and get like a bunch of users into one account or something like that. So like
So
as an
wherein like they'll
organization,
charge more and they'll give you more customizable.
yeah. So this is something very interesting. So reinforcement fine tuning of O1 models. This is not actually available for public, but if you're a researcher, you can. There's a form that you have to fill up and request access for it. So what they've done is, if you can just look at this metrics, they fine tuned this O1 model for a specific problem. In the video, he goes deeper into what that problem is and all that. But to give it just, you can see that O1 mini. O1 mini is like how do I put it? So there's O1 and below that there's O1 mini. So it's computationally less intensive. So for regular tasks, you might use O1 mini rather than the O1 model. So what they have done, this is the O1 mini fine tuned. They trained the O1 mini for a specific problem statement, and that gave a better result than the O1 model, which was like not trained on it. So what you're getting is when you fine tune these O1 models, you're getting a better accuracy than the O1 model itself. And also it's computationally less expensive than the O1. So they're making the smaller version or the less complex model give you a better accuracy score. Right?
So, I mean, if there are two graphs here, so the fine-tuned version performs better at lower capacity than, let's say, the non-fine-tuned version, and that is almost 50% better, because like the non-fine-tuned
Yeah.
model at max capacity is identifying the identification metric is about 30, and the fine-tuned one is 45. That's like 50% better if you can customize it to your use case. That's a significant advantage. You can go to, let's cover all these use cases quickly so that we can wrap it up. So still in day 2. Are there any questions? We can just go ahead. If you have any questions, we can probably get back. So day 3 was on Sora. I think this is the diffusion model implementation.
Yeah. So like as you can see, these are just some clips that Sora has generated. So if you have the $20 version Sora, you can use Sora. So it's not in GPT, it's like a different website, but you use the same credentials and same account to access Sora. Also, there is a cap, but you still can pretty much use it. Also, it's
Can
just
we
not a
download?
prompt.
So meaning like, can we generate trailers like this for $20
Yeah.
of this
This is the
quality?
of this quality, I'm not sure, but it's not just a prompt and you get a video kind of a thing. You can edit your videos, you can blend them. That's what the interesting part about Sora is. So there's this
So you're
storyboard.
saying I can do all the things that I can do in Adobe Premiere Pro or After Effects on this?
No, like more like a condensed version of that. You won't get all of the features, but like you can modify your videos. This is the storyboard feature. Like you can
Oh, storyboard, meaning
like
like you get the prompt and you get the video.
yeah.
Yeah, a
Storyboard.
clear
Also,
prompt with a clear
you can
prompt needs to
modify
be
the
given to get the
videos.
video generated.
Warren, you
Yeah.
can go ahead. Yeah. Repeat
Yeah,
that.
a clear prompt, like a structured prompt need to be given, a prompt engineer should to be given so that a clear output to be given from by the Sora model.
Okay. This is
There's
very exciting
also
because Adobe is such a huge company, and if they can disrupt part of their business, that'll be huge. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So the interesting thing is there's a feedback feature in this. So like you generate a video and you ask GPT to modify it, or you can blend two videos together and all of that. So I think if we just go through the clip once, you can kind of get to know what it is. Yeah. So you can see here, this is you give a prompt, it generates, and you can use this storyboard here to kind of edit those videos.
Got it. Okay. So at least in terms of frames, you can, take the frame, cut the frame, put it back together. Those things you can probably do.